We're just going live now. So, welcome everyone. Having a very interesting topic today. Yeah. It's a this sutta, an extract, a very abbreviated version, is chanted frequently at monasteries. This is a five subjects or themes for frequent recollection or consideration. And it says for everyone, not just for the monastics. And so I started really looking at the sutta more deeply and looking at different translations. And I thought I was gonna, like go through it and then bring in other extracts of related suttas and things. And I did find some, but I'm thinking that we can spend quite a deal of time, a bit of time on the sutta because it really is rich in itself. So I'm going to share it now. I just noticed I'm not sure if the YouTube is doing what it's supposed to be doing. Uh, So here is the welcome for those just joining, and it's just joining now. And try to get this out of there. So now I can read it and everybody can see it. Yes. So this I think this themes is Bhante Bodhi's translation of the title, but it's this is uh Bhante Sujato's translation here. Let's go to the actual sutta. He translates it as subjects for frequent recollection, and I'm gonna take away this for now. So we can just look at the English right now, and I did take some of the Pali, the interesting or the important Pali terms um, on the document. We'll go back to, but we'll just read through it. Might actually pause as we're reading through it because it's actually quite. If there's questions as we go along too. So I'll start reading. Mendicants, a woman or a man, a layperson, or a renunciant should often review these five subjects. What five? I am liable to grow old. I am not exempt from old age. A woman or a man, a layperson, or a renunciant should often review this. And as I was saying, this is chanted, this one section. I am liable to get sick. I'm not exempt from sickness. I am liable to die. I am not exempt from death. I must be parted and separated from all I hold dear and beloved. I am the owner of my deeds, heir to my deeds. My deeds are my womb, my relative, and my refuge. So this is talking about karma, our karma. So it's translated also, karma is also translated as action, or all our actions that we do, or intentional actions. I shall be heir to whatever deeds I do, whether good or bad. A woman or a man, a layperson or a renunciate should often review this. And then the Buddha says, so that one section there, abbreviated like this, without even mentioning man or woman, or I think it just said that the monks should reflect on this when we chant it. That's how the version in the temples I've seen. So it may appear somewhere else too, but this is the reflection, the very abbreviated reflection. So then we go one by one. What is the advantage for a woman or man or layperson or renunciant of often reviewing this? I am liable to grow old. I am not exempt from old age. There are sentient beings who are intoxicated with the vanity of youth, do bad things by way of body, speech, and mind. Reviewing this subject often, they entirely give up the vanity of youth, or at least reduce it. This is the advantage for a woman or a man, a layperson, or a renunciant of often reviewing this. I am liable to grow old. I am not exempt from old age. So nowadays, as well as in the time of the Buddha, people do things to try to cover up the fact that they're getting older. They did have ways of beautification to try to conceal the fact that they were aging. And then I think many of us can remember back. I don't know if anyone in the YouTube audience is young, but young being like under 30 or under 20. Probably at the time of the Buddha, there was like the youth would be like from under their 20s or so, under 30, under 30. Um, but and I think that's kind of a cutoff maybe for youth these days too. But especially in teenage years, it's almost like teenage and young 20s. I think many of us remember we just kind of felt like we were just so empowered and undefeatable, and our views were right. We were correct. The old fogies were wrong. There's this attitude of someone coming of age or something. So there's this intoxication with youth. And then still, I think I remember also just wanting always to be young, even though the fact that it was impossible for that to happen. Uh, so so we still cling to this ideal of youth, of being young and looking a particular way, and being completely physically fit if we were ever at that point in our lives. Some people never are, but so that's the vanity of youth. And so then, yeah, so it's often in our youth uh, that there's that vanity and it extends into old age. What is the advantage of reviewing this? I am liable to get sick. I am not exempt from sickness. There are sentient beings who, drunk on the vanity of health, do bad things by way of body, speech, and mind. Reviewing this subject often, they entirely give up the vanity of health, or at least reduce it. It is the advantage of often reviewing this. I am liable to get sick. I am not exempt from sickness. So I think I was always talking with someone here, and they were talking about people just being reckless on motor vehicles. And uh, so this, I think this is the vanity of part of the vanity of health. It's like the vanity of youth. You think so you want to try to get away with doing things that are either not ethical or just careless. Um, so the fact that the body is fragile and we can get ill at any, just very easily ill or injured. This also ties in with impermanence, both youth, the vanity of youth, and health, trying to deny the impermanence of that. What is the advantage of often reviewing this? I am liable to die. I am not exempt from death. There are sentient beings who, drunk on the vanity of life, do bad things by way of body, speech, and mind. Reviewing this subject often, they entirely give up the vanity of life, or at least reduce it. This is the advantage of often reviewing this. I am liable to die. I am not exempt from death. So, I'm sorry, I'm flipping around a little bit here. Just wanted to check on that, the YouTube, what was going on with it. So we often want to be in denial, I think, as a society and just as a being, not wanting to think about the fact that we're mortal. And so this idea of misbehavior, because I mean, we don't think of the consequences of our behavior, even, with rebirth or karma. The karma will come also. And what is the advantage of often reviewing this? I must be parted and separated from all I hold dear and beloved. There are sentient beings who, aroused by desire and lust for their dear and beloved, do bad things by way of body, speech, and mind. So either trying to attain something, this is not just the other translators, not just of other people, but things that they hold dear or things that they desire, they want to have for themselves. But yeah, I think we just know in the news that the horrible things that people do out of jealousy and uh, just horrible things they do to try to obtain things that aren't rightfully theirs. Or in protecting what they think is theirs, they do unethical things. So reviewing this subject, often they entirely give up desire and lust for their dear and beloved, or at least reduce it. So I think this is unwholesome, uh, unwholesome attachment. You can look at it that way. It's not that we don't care for those in our lives, but it's an unwholesome desire and attachment. What is the advantage of often reviewing like this? I am the owner of my deeds and heir to my deeds. Deeds are my womb, my relative, my refuge. I shall be heir of whatever deeds I do, whether good or bad. There are sentient beings who do bad things by body, speech, and mind. Reviewing this subject, often they entirely give up bad conduct, or at least reduce it. This is the advantage for a woman or a man, a layperson, a renunciant, of often reviewing like this. I am the owner of my deeds, heir to my deeds. Deeds are my womb, my relative, my refuge. I shall be heir of whatever deeds I do, good or bad. So that you can see the direct connection here with our behavior, that if we don't think about the comma of our behavior. And then there's a further reflection. Then that noble disciple reflects, it's just not me who is liable to grow old, not being exempt from old age. For all sentient beings grow old according to their nature, as long as they come and go, pass away, and are reborn. When they review this subject often, the path is born in them. They cultivate, develop, and make much of it. By doing so, they give up the fetters and eliminate the underlying tendencies. So this is the path is born. It's got a sanjayati is that word, and the path, the magga, is a noble eightfold path, and all the development of the path in various ways. But so it may be, I'm not sure if that's indicating they've entered the stream, or they've just really dedicated themselves to the path. So it's not just me who is liable to get sick, not being exempt from sickness. For all sentient beings get sick according to their nature, as long as they come and go, pass away, and are reborn. When they review this subject often, the path is born in them. They cultivate, develop, and make much of it. By doing so, they give up the fetters and eliminate the underlying tendencies. So I'll talk a little bit more about these later. But it seems like there's a progression here from the path is born in them. They cultivate, develop, and make much of it. So this, I think this is over time, and then by doing so, they give up the fetters and eliminate the underlying tendencies. So if they've completely done that, they're arahant. It's just not me who is liable to death, not being exempt from death. For all sentient beings die according to their nature, as long as they come and go, pass away, and are reborn. When they review this subject often, the path is born in them. They cultivate, develop, and make much of it. By doing so, they give up the fetters and eliminate the underlying tendencies. It's not just me who must be parted and separated from all that I hold dear and beloved. For all sentient beings must be parted and separated from all they hold dear and beloved. As long as they come and go, pass away, and are reborn. When they review this subject often, the path is born in them. They cultivate it, develop, and make much of it. By doing so, they give up the fetters and eliminate the underlying tendencies. It's not just me who shall be the owner of my deeds and heir to my deeds, for all sentient beings shall be the owners of their deeds, heir to their deeds, as long as they come and go, pass away, and are reborn. When they review this subject often, the path is born in them. They cultivate, develop, and make much of it. By doing so, they give up the fetters and eliminate the underlying tendencies. Well, here's the poem, the verse at the end. For others, sickness is normal, and so are old age and death. Though this is how their nature is, ordinary people feel disgusted. If I were to be disgusted with creatures whose nature is such, it would not be appropriate for me, since my life is just the same. So looking at other people who age, who are sick, who are dying, to be disgusted by it is not appropriate. Living in such a way, I understand the truth without attachments. I mastered all vanities of health, of youth, and even of life. Seeing renunciation as sanctuary, zeal sprang up in me. As I looked to extinguishment, this is Nibbana. So the zeal sprung up as they looked to Nibbana, extinguishment. Now I'm unable to indulge in sensual pleasures. There's no turning back. I'm committed to the spiritual life. So I believe that would be the word of the Buddha. So we could stop the screen share. Does anyone have any? Oh, a couple of other people have joined. Any questions or comments so far on what's been read? Should keep going with the document. Yes, it looks so. Okay, so we will.
I'm trying to raise my hand, but I can't find the
Oh,
little thing.
okay. Do you have something you'd like to share?
Well, let's see. I'm sharing from lying in bed with my eyes closed because I'm sick. So I thought it was a good sutta to come in on. You were just saying that these are the words of the Buddha. I think it may be so in this sutta, and this sutta also appears very, very similarly. Sukhamal, the Sukhamala Sutta.
Oh,
It was one of the monks who lived a very delicate, easy life, very privileged life, and so he goes through these same things, the same teachings.
oh,
And I just bring that in, just as you were saying earlier, that this isn't just applicable to a samana, to a monastic. This is, and it's not just to the Buddha, it's all of us that this is applying to. And if we look at, and I'm remembering,
Could
I
you
don't know, a
put
week,
the um
I
reference?
paste, yeah, I pasted it in the bottom of your document
Oh, okay, great.
for
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Um, and I remember a week or so ago, I was saying, oh, I hope I finish my physical therapy and everything. And next spring, I'll just be back up, you know, all is new. And you said, it's not going to happen. You are aging. And of course, it's likely I will get much better, but it is true. I am aging. And so it's so easy for us to try to sidestep that. Um, that, oh, it's just a headache, it'll be gone tomorrow. Probably true, but it should be a way that we can also remember and say, yes, I am of this nature. I have a body, and this is what bodies do.
Right.
So that I'd bring that in, just that other sutta was there, and that it's applicable to us all.
Yeah, thank you very much. So anything else? Should we go to the next? Kema, yes, please.
Thank you, Ayaz. Uh, what a great reminder. It's very uplifting. Uh, to see reality. And I just wanted to add or say that this is why it's so important for me. I think most people to be around Sangha, Kalyanamitta, to remind us of this stuff because it needs a lot of repetition and we can do it on our own. We should. But it's so helpful to hear it from others that are embracing this reality. It's really important to, I think the Buddha says, how many ways how important it is to be around others who are 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 practicing because the world is so it's really it really takes a lot of practice to remember. Anyway, so thank you so much for these talks and practice. Thank you all.
Oh, you're very welcome. So we'll go on to the document. There we have it. So this is Bhante Sujato's translation. And you can tell this what Bhante Sujato translates it's bhikkhus as mendicants. And someone said that was to be inclusive because bhikkhunis are also mendicants. So mendicants, a woman or man or layperson or renunciate should often review these 5 subjects. So I just wanted to show this is if anyone goes to especially Bayagiri or any of the associated with Thai temples. I don't know if the Sri Lankan temples have this particular um, way of working with these 5 subjects, but it's just a very brief reminder you could chant this daily because it's so short. It's a Panchime Bhikkhave Tanani Abhinam Pachaweki Taba. And then this part, the itiya, this woman and man and householder and renunciant, that isn't included. It's just that we should all, or maybe all just down to the Pabajitena. But then here, Jara Damomhi, Jara Manatita or Tito, and then Biadi Damomhi, Biadi Manatito. These are what are chanted. This is chanted. So this is Jara is old age, Biadi is this is Dhamma is a nature, the nature, it's our nature, uh, or um, or we're liable is how Bhante Sujata translated in the Marana Damomhi, Marana Manatita, and then Sabe Hime Piehe Mana, oh, Piehe Nana Bawo Wina Bawoti. So we just chant this section of it, and then the Kama section. Kama Sakomhi, Kama Dayadu, Kama Yoni, Kama Bandhu, Kama Patisaranoyam, Kama Karisami, Kalyana, Wa Papa Kamwa, Tasa Dayada Bawisa Miti. So then that's chanted frequently in temples, just that reflection. And that's a lot of what, I don't know, well, often when we chant it, we go back and forth with the English and the Pali, so that we are actually taking it in, because you can memorize Pali and then just if you're not thinking about it, even if English, if you have English memorized like a song or something, you might find yourself singing some old song and you realize you're singing this crummy old song that really is not relevant to your life anymore, but you just like the tune of it, right? I think I don't know, people, I used to sing all the time because I just love to hear the sound of my own voice. And or just love the feeling of singing, and then I find myself with these tunes in my mind even now. And then I think about what is being said, and I was like, do I really want to be cluttering my mind with that garbage? So in the same way, we can memorize something and not really take in what's being said. So when we have something like this memorized, we should really reflect deeply on what the meaning of it is. So I took some of the Pali terms. This tani is a thing, a fact, a subject. So these are the subjects for frequent recollection, but this interesting, it's literally standing. So this is something that's really, it's a standing, something that's um, there's something that's it's part of our life. It's just like somebody standing in your room, it's there. The sickness, aging, death, the fact that we can be separated from everything. This is part of our lives. It's standing there. And then there's a Pachawake Kitaba, should be considered, should be reviewed, should be contemplated, should be reflected upon. So, like I was saying, there's these daily reflections. So you can have that as part of your daily reflection, to think about the abbreviated version of this, which is in quite a few chanting books, if you have them, or you can find it online. If you go Abhayagiri or Parayana Vihara's chanting book, it's going to be in there. But to really think about it, to really consider it, to really review and reflect upon it. And here I have the Jara Damomhi, so the liable to grow old. I'm subject to old age. Aging is part of my intrinsic nature. This is how this is, because it's a sandy, which is a compound word. So jara is old age, and damo is having to do with the nature. Amihi. I didn't look up this particular word, but it's part of it. It's intrinsic. I think that's what it's referring to. Anatito, not free from, not exempt. It's unavoidable. And Biadi is the sickness. Marana is referring to death. And Mara is the the Lord of death, and Marana is referring to death. And Pia is dear, beloved, loved by, liked, pleasant, agreeable. So it's both people and living beings in our life, as well as our dear, even my dear cup of tea or something like this. This is pleasant and agree. I'll be, you know, there are people that, when you get older and then suddenly the doctor tells you have to stop drinking black tea, and then you go, this is my dear and beloved warm cup of tea in the morning. I'm supposed to stop drinking it. I haven't heard that particular one, but I know people are, that you do find there's like I was saying, I can't eat cantaloupe, and I used to love to eat it, but I can't digest it. It makes me sick now. So something that, like maybe I'm not really pining away for cantaloupe now, but these things happen where suddenly things that are comforts to us we can't have anymore for some reason or another. And this is Nana Bawa, having to do with the beloved is to be separated, parted from, different state is a literal translation of this. Ajahn Tanisaro talks about becoming different from. So maybe that would be part of, like, suddenly I can't do things that I used to do or have things that I used to have because things have changed. We na bawa, separated, loss, literally separate state. And then there's the kama sakomhi, the owner of my actions. My actions are my own property, literally action, property, I am. It's just the word orders. And kama sako he. So this is Bhante Sujato's translation again. And I took an extract of this because of the Pali. And so what is the advantage for a woman or a man or layperson or a renunciate of often viewing like this? I am liable to grow old. I am not exempt from old age. So there are sentient beings who, intoxicated by the vanity of youth, who do bad things by way of body, speech, and mind. So this is the intoxication here. This is youth and the intoxication motto, Madena, and it has to do with a substance you get drunk on, I think. Yannicka may be able to, I think she's familiar with this, if that's the actual drink. The ferment,
Yes, it is. It
it's a
is.
fermented drink. And so it's a kaye, now kaya's body, duchari tongue, charanti. So this is a do is bad behavior, bad conduct. They do bad conduct. Wachaya. Wacha is verbal. So if you see do like dukkha, and sukha is happiness, do is bad conduct. And then mind, mano, manasa, relating to bad conduct by body, speech, and mind. And so being drunk on youth, people people do bad things. Yeah, so not every youth does, but there's often the time in our lives where we've been naughty. Reviewing this, they entirely give up the vanity of youth, or at least reduce it. So here's the atta wasa is the benefit, advantage. And that's also reason, purpose, which is interesting. Atta is having to do with the purpose. So that's the purpose of really reflecting is to give up this attachment, this vanity, this intoxication. So this youth, yuba, and mada. And then there's the bad conduct, bad, immoral, wicked, literally badly conducted. And see, there's the dur is bad, unhappy, having to do with dukkha, actually, suffering, misconduct, misbehavior, bad behavior. Then they reflect. So it's this whole process of reflection. It's not just me who's liable to grow old, not being exempt from old age. For all sentient beings grow old according to their nature, as long as they come and go and pass away. So why do you think that the Buddha is saying that they start thinking about not just themselves, but everyone? What would be the reason for that? Anyone have an idea about that?
Maybe it
Yes,
has
Lot?
something to do with equanimity, just an understanding that we're all, experiencing the same cycles over time.
Mhm. And then Locke, you had something you wanted to?
I was thinking of karuna for compassion.
Uh-huh. So those are two of the Brahma Viharas, it's equanimity and compassion. So yeah, there's this kind of universal, which would make for compassion, and for the we're all having the same suffering, but then the equanimity too. I think also, like, if you have a loss in your life, or you're seeing that you're losing your youth, or you've lost someone dear to you, uh, then uh, then it takes that for it being that so personal. I'm the only, why me? Why is this happening to me? That this is happening to this is just the nature of reality. So this would help with the equanimity and also compassion too, but for oneself too, that this is the nature of things. It's not just me that is experiencing this, is all beings. So it takes that kind of sting of me out of it. It's, that this is my personal suffering or something. It's all beings have this experience, and it's not we can't escape, and that it's not just me who is liable to get sick. And when they review this subject, often the path is born in them. And this is the Mago Sanjayati. So we're seeing this universal nature. We're developing equanimity, compassion, and the path is born in them. They're potentially motivated also to develop the path. They cultivate, develop, and make much of it. This Bhavati, Bahulika, karoti. This is a bhawati is cultivating and making much. Karoti is an action, and bahuli is a much or many. So these are terms that are important to know. Is maga is a path. Usually it's translated as path or way, but it's interesting, there's means, method. So it's certainly the Noble Eightfold Path is a method, a means. And sanjayati is not so frequently appearing, but I just was intrigued by it, the word. So sanjayati also appears, arises, is born. So this is a translation that Bhante Sujato chose. Generated, Bhante Bodhi has chosen this one. Is produced, is born. And these are two important words. Samyojana, fetter, chain, bond, thing which binds, causing to yoke together. So this is talking of the fetters, and I have what these are. These are what keep us bound to samsara, and the anusayas, the underlying tendencies. So these are, as we develop the path, are abandoned, and the fetters are abandoned gradually, and the anusayas are weakened as the fetters are abandoned. So an anusaya, underlying tendency, inherent inclination to dormant. I've also heard is dormant tendencies or propensity, and then literally it's sleeping alongside. So the fetters here, there are 10 fetters. There's 5 lower. Personal existence view, doubt, and wrong grasp of behavior. These are the 3 that are abandoned at stream entry. Behavior and observances. So this is these are abandoned at stream entry, sensual desire, and ill will. So these are weakened. Sense desire and ill will are weakened for a once returner. The 5 lower fetters, when those are completely abandoned, then one is an anagami. And the 5 higher fetters, lust for form or attachment, this is form realm, and lust for the formless. So these are meditative attainments. Conceit, restlessness, and ignorance. So conceit gets subtle. It's a subtle form of conceit, but still it's a conceit of I am, even though one is not attached to the 5 khandhas, there's still the sense of I am there. So those are the 5 higher fetters. So these are more subtle and more complicated to explain. And then anusayas, and we talked about the anusayas, other suttas, but this is just a review of this sensual lust, kamaraga, aversion, patiga, views, ditthi, doubt, vichikicha, conceit is here again, mana, passion for becoming, bhava raga, and that would be in the higher fetters for the form and form realm. This is a type of becoming, also wishing to attain those realms of existence. And ignorance is the last. And this is really not just knowing things intellectually to overcome ignorance, but just a really deep understanding of the Four Noble Truths and other deeper subjects on the path. So, how are we doing at time? Would you like to open this up for discussion now? Would that be good? I've got other translations here. I could just go with the other translations if no one has a hand up or comment. So this is Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation. And for the sake of what benefit should a woman or a man or a householder or one go forth, often reflect, I am subject to death. I am not exempt from death. During their lives, they are intoxicated with life. And when they are intoxicated with life, they engage in misconduct by body, speech, and mind. But when one often reflects on this theme, the intoxication of life is either completely abandoned or diminished. It is for the sake of this benefit that a woman or a man or a householder or one gone forth should often reflect like this. I am subject to death. I am not exempt from death. So this is the third of the five. And for the sake of what benefit should a woman or a man or householder or one going forth often reflect thus, I must be parted and separated from everyone and everything dear and agreeable to me. I think the question mark is that's the question, for what sake? Okay. Beings who desire and lust in regard to those people and things that are dear and agreeable and excited by this lust engage in misconduct by body, speech, and mind. I think this one is a little clearer about this one. But when one often reflects upon this theme, the desire and lust in regard to everyone and everything dear and agreeable is either completely abandoned or diminished. So this is unwholesome attachment is the way I'm seeing this. It is for the sake of this benefit, a woman or a man or a householder or one gone forth should often reflect, I must be parted and separated from everyone and everything dear and agreeable to me. The noble disciple reflects thus, I am not the only one who must be parted and separated from everyone and everything dear and agreeable. All beings that come and go, that pass away and undergo rebirth must be parted and separated from everyone and everything dear and agreeable. As one often reflects on this theme, the path is generated or born, and they pursue this path, develop it, cultivate it. And as they do so, the fetters are entirely abandoned and the underlying tendencies are uprooted. So then this indicates arahantship. So I'll just read the verse here. Worldlings subject to illness, old age, and death are disgusted by other people who exist in accordance with their nature. If I were to become disgusted with beings who have such a nature, that would not be proper for me, since I too have the same nature. While I was dwelling thus, having known the state without acquisitions, I overcome all intoxications, intoxication with health, with youth, and with life, having seen security in renunciation. Zeal then arose in me as I clearly saw Nibbana. Now I am incapable of indulging in sensual pleasures, relying on the spiritual life. Never will I turn back. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So I'm going to stop the screen share. And can I put this on gallery view? Would you like that? Can see each other a little bit more. Okay, there we go. So, are there any comments or questions on what we just went over? Yes, Luck?
I just wanted to observe that it is comforting to me, the phrase, the path is born in them. It's an active participatory thing that unfolds as you go. It's not something that's all laid out and done and you have to find it and it's just one way. It's a little more varied than that. I like
And then they cultivate and develop it and then bring it to fulfillment. So it's like, but the path is born or generated. Yeah. So it arises in us as we do this investigation and reflection. Anything else people would like to share?
I just really appreciate thank you so much for this teaching. And I really appreciate the focus and grounding in the language. And the different interpretations and just hearing it in different ways really supports my understanding. I can kind of internalize it a little bit better. And make connections to other things I've, learned. And there was a passage in the sutta about, your actions and deeds are like I guess the karma that is born, back into your life in different ways. And there's thinking about that word karma and some of the, I guess, recitation I've done, like around the Eightfold Path, some of the the chanting that's in my head, the music that's in my head, I suppose, like karma DT and Sankappa, and like going through that kind of wheel. It helps to cement for me, yeah, there are just different layers to that. And so I really appreciate the focus and explanation of the language itself. Is really grounding. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah. I just feel fortunate that we do have so many translators that are, can find online and compare the translate. That helps me a lot for my understanding. It's a kind of a spectrum of meaning sometimes, and or so like kind of many facets in a gem or something like that. So we could look at it one way or another and see the meaning of it differently in different contexts, or just as the path develops, our understanding is seeing it how it there's different aspects of even a single Pali word is what it's pointing to. That's it. So yeah, thank you for your comment. I think Anne has just sent a message that that a dear friend had heard her elderly dog companion passed away, and reflecting on Anne is reflecting about her own illness, aging, illness, and death. And the question is there a sutta that says, when you see a loved one dying, you should remember your own? I think there's a reflection that when if we see someone who has passed away, or a loved being who has passed away, or any being, to reflect on our own mortality. And I also, the same with, I was a nurse, and I cared for people who had disabilities. And a lot of it was from accident, some kind of accident or severe illness, and I also took care of children who they were born with disabilities. But I reflected that, yeah, one moment we're healthy, like one moment, or the fall, a couple of patients I had were quadriplegic patients, and it came from a fall, two of them. And it just suddenly you're disabled, suddenly we die, suddenly. Yeah, so sorry to hear of the loss of your dear friend. I know that our four-legged furry friends are part of our family as much as people are often. So yeah, and to see, yeah, this is the nature of all beings, not just the human beings, and animals, and so yeah, I can't think there is but for death especially, to contemplate of this is our nature. This, if we see, we're looking at a corpse that someone's passed away, that think I'm not exempt from this. And then there's the Buddha. It's said that he saw the four heavenly messengers before he went forth into monastic life. He saw a sick man, an old man, or person, a dead person. The fourth one was a samana. So realizing that all beings were subject to aging, sickness, aging, and death, he went forth into monastic life. Yeah, there is oh, I know, it's in the Majjhima Nikaya Pari, it's the Noble Search, Arya Pariyasana, I think. I'm not sure which number in the Majjhima Nikaya it is, but if you look up the Noble Search, he does talk about this. And then the people try to escape from the suffering of this by seeking out sensual pleasures. There's two kinds of searches. One is the seeking out sensual pleasures, trying to avoid the dukkha. And the second one is the noble search, searching for the freedom from sickness, aging, and death, which is nibbana. So yeah, so that I can't think of that. Nyanaka might know it, but I don't know the number of it right offhand. I think that if you go to Clear Mountain, you might be able to find their more information on the that. I think they covered that one week already. I'm not sure. Seems like that was one of the more recent ones, but it is in the Majjhima Nikaya. I'm seeing sending. Okay, so is there any other comments, or we could go to off after we close because it is after 9. So we'll just pay respects, and then if people want to stay on a little longer, then you're welcome to. We uh can have a chat afterwards. So I'm just turning towards the altar now. Wish to join me? Araham Sama Sambuddho Bhagava Bhuttam Bhagavantam Abhivademi. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammam Namasami. Supatipanno Bhagavato Sawaka Sangho Sangham Namami. Thank you all. Oops.